If you're planning to start a company, there are n number of things that you need to keep in mind. Along with those n number of things, there is this one key thing that you really need to concentrate on so that all the other things run smoothly. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. If you have ever worked in a company, you'll have a pretty good idea about how the corporate structure works. Your boss would be pressurizing you to finish your work in time, and that he has deadlines to meet. Now this guy will be constantly on your tail to complete your task. He's the only type of guy that is getting the work done. Now let's call him Scott. Now the management loves Scott. They want more guys like him. Actually, you might have hated Scott. He might be the sole reason that you want to quit your job today. You always wanted to be a part of Jim's team, where he would always give his juniors enough and more time. They would always be chilling around, come late to office, go back early, and even while they are at work, they are having a lot of fun. Now the point is, Jim never gets any work done on time. He's always lagging. Even if he completes a task, the quality of the work that he delivers is not up to the mark. Now you might be wondering what this has got to do with starting a company. It's more or less the same when we are setting up a company. Now Scott and Jim are both on two ends of a scale. Too much of this or too much of that is not good. Now what you want is a person somewhere in the middle of the scale. When you start a company on your own, you might have your own reasons to start, be it freedom of thought, freedom of action, financial independence, or you might be having an idea that you think can revolutionize an industry. The reason why you start a company is not important. It's the way you execute it that matters. Now, a great idea executed well is a profitable business, while a great idea executed poorly is absolutely not worth the time. It's all about execution. For executing an idea well, you need to plan each step, schedule it in such a way that when one task is complete, you need to move on to the next one, and so on. But the main thing that you need to do is stick on to these deadlines that you keep for each task. Only then can you complete and proceed to the next one on time. And that's how you progress and keep the business running. The benefit of starting your own business is that you don't have anyone above you. Now the drawback of starting your own business is that you don't have anyone above you. You are your own boss. You don't have to answer to anyone, which means that you're free to execute your ideas the way you like. This also means that there is no one to control you, tell you what you have to do and in what time. When you're working in a company, there's always someone above you to pressurize you to complete tasks on time. But when you are an entrepreneur, there is no one above you. That means there is no one to pressurize you to complete a task on time. This means that it's up to you. If you want to do it, you can do. Else you can take all the time in the world to complete the task. We are so used to this kind of an environment. For example, in a classroom, if there is no professor, we tend to drift away from what we have to do. And we would like to utilize the free time that we have to do something fun. The same happens in an office. If there is no boss around, we tend to use the free time to have fun, leave early from office, etc. But when you're an entrepreneur, you'll have lots of free time like this, where there is no one above you. At first, you will be overwhelmed with your idea. You would be having an idea to solve a big problem in the world, to build an amazing business. But as time passes, you start to wander away, drift into some other activities. Eventually, your idea stops to excite you anymore, and you drop it off. Well, in that case, you need a motivator. Something that will drive you into completing each task right on track. Now, time is your greatest motivator. You have to keep deadlines for each task and most importantly, stick to it. Have you ever wondered why college dropouts such as Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, etc. all ended up becoming successful in life? They weren't accustomed to the environment of a classroom, where a professor would give them orders and they listened to it and do accordingly. No one told them to do stuff. They just did it because they wanted to, and they loved what they did. They all had a goal, vision, or whatever you like to call it. They all kept their own tasks and deadlines. They followed a discipline in order to complete all the tasks that they had planned out. They are self-motivated to complete tasks on time, to meet deadlines, not for someone else, but for themselves. There are a lot of college dropouts who have had an idea and wanted to create a business or a startup. They couldn't make an impact in the industry. They might have tried hard to be successful, but ended up being just like anybody else. One of the main reasons for this is not having a deadline to complete tasks that they have started. Setting a deadline and keeping up to it requires a huge amount of discipline. It is this discipline that separates the successful from the rest. Starting a business is easy. You just need to fill up a few forms and you're ready to go. But executing it in the proper way is the hardest part. For that, you need to have deadlines, short term as well as long term. A timeline that is set up just right so that it doesn't squeeze you too much, nor does it give you too much of slack time. When you cross each deadline, you need to analyze if you have completed that target in a specified timeline and that you have kept the quality of your goal. You need to question yourself because no one else is going to do it. Question yourself and correct your path if you're deviating. Even if you fail, make sure that you correct your course of action and progress. Until and unless you discipline yourself into this manner, don't start a business. Every Tom, Dick and Harry is starting a business nowadays. Most of these companies fail to make an impact in the industry, not because their idea is bad, but because they don't work on deadlines. At the beginning of a day, set aside an hour to plan what you're going to do for that day. You could use this time for meditation, going for a walk, a workout, or something that you like to do, something that will give you a clear mind. It's at the beginning of the day that your mind is clear, so it's best to plan your day at the beginning rather than at night. At the end of the day, before you go to bed, you need to analyze the work that you have done. Make sure that you have completed all that you have planned. If you fail to keep up, that means either you're wasting a lot of time or you have planned your schedule very tightly. Make SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Analyze yourself. This is very important to run a successful business.